Tonight, Saskatchewan's Court of Appeal rules on a challenge to the province's pronoun law. Why pickles are the latest casualty in the ongoing tariff war. And how a Canadian tennis phenom's big win is inspiring the next generation of Saskatchewan tennis players.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, August 11th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. A Saskatchewan court has released its decision on a legal challenge against Saskatchewan's so-called pronoun policy. It's a challenge that has been in the works for about 2 years now, and as Alexander Kwan reports, Monday's decision is still not the end of the road for this issue.
A challenge to Saskatchewan's pronoun law can continue, according to the province's Court of Appeal. The decision released on Monday is being welcomed by the organization that took the provincial government to court.
It's absolutely a win for your pride, and I think more broadly for the country.
All of this is around a policy, which is now law, that requires parental consent for children under the age of 16 who want to use a different name or pronoun at school. Critics have said it outs children who are not ready to express their new identity to their parents, while the government has said it's defending parental rights and invoked the notwithstanding clause to ensure the law couldn't be challenged for violating certain sections of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The Court of Appeal now says UR Pride's challenge to the law can proceed. The legal group representing the organization welcomes the court's decision.
The takeaway from this is that our case will be allowed to continue, and the court will have the ability to analyze the constitutionality of the law. So our intention is absolutely to proceed with the merits. We are really eager to have these these questions considered by a court on the basis of full evidence.
EGAL ultimately wants a judge to declare the province's policy violates the charter. They believe it's important for the public to have that information, even if the law can't be overturned.
So they're not just hearing from communities that are affected, they're not just hearing from governments, they're hearing from the experts in the Constitution who have, on the basis of evidence, ruled on whether something is constitutional or not.
The provincial government says it's still reviewing the decision to determine its next steps. That could include an appeal of the ruling, which could send it to the Supreme Court of Canada. EGAL says it's ready if that happens. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Regina police are investigating after an 11-year-old girl was shot in the Eastview neighbourhood. Officers were called to this home on Edgar Street shortly after 2 o'clock Monday morning. That's where they found the girl suffering from a gunshot wound. She was taken to hospital with serious injuries. A man who lives a few houses down from where it happened says incidents like this don't normally happen in the neighbourhood.
I haven't heard the fire sound here even before ever. I wasn't sure, is it the actual fire gunshot or it is something like maybe the kids making something, but it was the severe sound, like long series. Everybody noticed, like I was sitting inside and then I peek out and there was nothing here. No movement. I didn't show like, is it there? But when we came out, when the police came, then we came to know it is actually there.
Police say multiple shots were fired at the home from someone outside. They are asking anyone who has surveillance footage around Eastview Park over the last 24 hours to contact them. One of Canada's most wanted people has been arrested in Montreal. Jonathan Gendron was picked up at the city's airport over the weekend. And as Jeremy Warren reports, he was wanted in connection with an incident that happened in our province.
And it's not able to get a good description of the male, just saw black clothing.
A fugitive connected to a fatal shootout at a Saskatoon apartment was arrested in Montreal. Until his arrest on August 9th, Jonathan Gendron was the number 10 most wanted person in Canada. Quebec law enforcement arrested him at the Montreal Trudeau Airport as he returned to Canada. Saskatoon police have been searching for him since May 2022. They say he is a suspect in the first-degree murder of Brandon Baxendall. Baxendall was fatally shot 4 times in a running gun battle in the Nutana neighborhood. He and the other men involved all knew each other from the cocaine trade in the Northwest Territories, dating back at least 5 years. Baxendale was allegedly lured to the apartment to collect a debt. 2 men ambushed him with zip ties and duct tape. Baxendale pulled out a handgun and started shooting. So did some of the other men. Baxendale was shot while fleeing the apartment and died in the parking lot. A third man was shot once in the stomach but never charged. In 2024, Mohammed Abdullah Ali pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 6 years. But Wale Gendron disappeared. In 2023, he was listed as number 10 on Canada's BOLO program and also wanted for other Canada-wide warrants for drug trafficking and gun-related offenses. Police say there is a fourth suspect, known only as Bob. But so far, none of the other men involved have said who or where he is. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The federal government is investing over $1 million into 3 companies in Saskatchewan to help boost AI innovation. The money will go to ground truth agriculture, green wave innovations, and off-street technology. The goal is to accelerate AI adoption, improve productivity, and help compete with the global market.
These are really using AI in a transformative way, because here in our country and in the prairie provinces, we're very good at research into AI, and now we need to take that research a step forward and actually adopt and commercialize. And so I think it's a really exciting opportunity for these 3 Saskatchewan companies. Thank you.
The feds say the $1.3 million investment will create 50 jobs and $30 million in revenue. $2.4 billion was allocated in last year's budget into boosting the country's AI sector. Air Canada flight attendants picketed at 4 major airports across the country Monday, including in Toronto and Vancouver. CBC News spoke with some people at Pearson International Airport in Toronto earlier Monday for their thoughts on a potential strike.
So it's a little unnerving, especially when traveling for business, to know whether or not I have a flight to go on, right? The business still happens, work still happens. So it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I'll be in Newfoundland, so if it's on the strike, I'll have to find another way of getting back, but I'm not going to worry about it for the moment. So.
More than 10,000 flight attendants are in a legal strike position and could walk off the job as of this coming Saturday. The main sticking points revolve around wages, including time paid while not actually in the air. The ongoing trade war with the U.S. is affecting some salty snacks. The dispute is changing not only how Canadians shop, but also what stores are putting on their shelves. Julia Wong explains why some pickles are the latest product impacted.
For Crystal Porcher, pickles are kind of a big deal. The Edmonton woman snacks on them at least twice a week.
I mean, always with a grilled cheese. Always. You have a pickle. It's classic.
But in many grocery stores across Canada, a jarring sight. The iconic Bix pickles are not available anymore due to unfortunate tariff impacts.
We've got a border dispute that just makes that transfer back and forth across the border expensive.
Every year, Treehouse Foods buys its lids and 11 million pounds of cucumbers from Ontario. But assembly happens in the U.S. Now, when they come back into Canada, Ottawa slaps the pickles with a 25% retaliatory tariff.
That has, in some cases, really inhibited the retailer's availability to justify carrying them.
Bix is only sold in Canada, so the company isn't relishing the dragged-out trade war. Sales are down about 25% in the last 3 months, putting the company in, well, a bit of a pickle.
And that's less cucumbers and less caps, things we'll buy in Ontario.
Amid the ongoing trade war, patriotism has swelled, but that could backfire in some cases, experts say.
That Buy Canadian is sort of coming back to bite, pardon the pun, the Canadian farmers.
Another complication of intertwined economies.
There are other products that have somewhat complicated supply chains, and I suppose pickled vegetables are an example of that.
Back in Edmonton, Porcher says she'll make do with what she has, but pickles being caught up in the trade war leaves a sour taste in her mouth.
Personally, it's not great. Obviously, I'm gonna be paying more for something that I love to eat. If I can't find them, I'll have to suss out some other options.
The company behind Bix says it's reaching out to U.S. lawmakers to lobby the Canadian government to remove the counter tariff. But with no guarantees in this trade war, businesses and consumers are left to deal with the consequences. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, a look now at Curry Field in Regina, where the clouds have cleared out and it looks like a perfect evening for a ball game. The Regina Red Sox and Saskatoon Berries are facing off in Game 2 of the Western Canadian Baseball League's East Division Final. Our Aliyah Marco Omene is at Curry Field, and we'll have a breakdown of what we can expect from these two teams after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Western Canadian Baseball League season is heating up, and it is the battle of Highway 11 in the league's East Division Final as the Saskatoon Berries are in Regina to face the Red Sox in Game 2 of the final. Our Aliyah Marco Omene is down at Curry Field for the game. Aliyah, looking like a pretty exciting night ahead.
Yes, Ethan, there is a big buzz here at the field tonight, and seats are filling up. I'm seeing some fans in their red Regina gear, and I'm seeing some purple out there as well. You know, this is a big game tonight for these two teams, Ethan. The Saskatoon Berries are heading into Game 2 facing elimination. This is a best-of-3 series, and, you know, on Sunday, the team did lose to Regina 8-7, so heading into Game 2, if they lose tonight, their season is over. But I will say the Saskatoon Berries did have a record-breaking season. They went with 46 wins this season and just 9 losses. So they're looking for redemption as they head into tonight, because they are facing the same team they lost to last year, which was Moose Jaw, and now they're going to be facing a new team, which is Regina tonight. So it's a lot of nerves, but they're ready, I think.
Definitely seems like they're going to have a lot of competition against the Red Sox as well.
That's right. The Regina Red Sox ended the regular season third in the East Division, and you know they fought really hard to earn their spot here tonight. They just swept Medicine Hat in the semifinals, and now they're going into this championship, which they haven't played since 2019 and haven't won since 2012. So they're ready. And either way, whoever wins, whether it's Saskatoon Berries or Regina Red Sox, they're going to be facing Okotoks or Slivlin Lake. Their game is actually tonight, and whoever wins will be facing Regina Red Sox. So it's expected to be an exciting game here tonight. And, you know, the president of Regina Red Sox says it's expected to be a big turnout of 1,500 people. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll see who wins.
For sure, yeah. Big crowd expected, definitely. Aliyah, thank you so much. That is Aliyah Marco Omene reporting live from Curry Field in Regina. Well, Canadian tennis champion Victoria Mboko's win is inspiring a new generation of Saskatchewan tennis players, and it's just in time for the Canada Summer Games, where several of our province's tennis athletes are competing. And as Chris Edwards reports, they are already off to a hot start.
It was a moment Canadian tennis fans will never forget. 18-year-old Victoria Mboko crowned champion of the National Bank Open last week, and her win has prompted a wave of enthusiasm for tennis in Saskatchewan, especially among its youngest players, 8 of whom are now in St. John's competing for the province at the Canada Summer Games. Their coach, Denise Fernandez, says Mboko has set a positive example.
Absolutely, and the fact that she's only 18, it's for at least our juniors, they can relate because she's not that much older than they are. So. And then on top of that, she has won the Challenger here in Saskatoon 2022 and 2023, which we were able to see her still at a very young age.
14-year-old Anna Clemmer has been playing since she was 7, and over the weekend, she helped Team Saskatchewan win their first game. She says athletes like Mboko push her to dream big.
It inspires me and tells me I can do that too. Yeah, it's just another thing to add to my dreams and gives me another reason to chase them even more.
17-year-old Michael Liu was also part of Team Saskatchewan's first win this past weekend. For him, the Canada Games will be another milestone in his tennis journey.
Personally, my goal is to perform at my best and I have a great doubles partner, so hopefully we'll do our best and see what happens.
Regardless of how Saskatchewan does at the Games this year, Fernandez thinks tennis is growing in the province, and she feels optimistic about its future here.
They see it. They see it. Just like, you know, any other sport, they see really good hockey players coming out of Saskatchewan or Canada in general, so they want to play the sport.
The Canada Games continue until August 24th, with a gold medal tennis match scheduled for this Saturday. Chris Edwards, CBC News, Regina.
And weather specialist Helena Mahalik joins us now. And Helena, I know obviously we need the rain, especially for the forest fires, but some of us getting a little bit too much of it all at one time this weekend.
Yes, Ethan, it was definitely a very rainy weekend for the majority of the province. We actually have a video of some of the flash flooding that occurred because of just how much rainfall we got. Let's take a look. So this was in Prince Albert Saturday. You can see the cars driving through the water because of a huge storm that hit the city and surrounding areas that did cause some flash flooding like this and left areas with a lot of rain. Let's take a look at just how much rainfall some of these areas were getting, like Prince Albert. Prince Albert got close to 90 millimeters of rain with 87.4 millimeters, and many other areas in the province got a lot as well, like Hudson Bay and Arley with over 70 millimeters of rainfall. Saskatoon also got a lot with 60.9 millimeters, and keep in mind that most of this is from just a one-day period alone, which is why we're seeing these instances of the flash flooding like what happened in Prince Albert. And so not just over the weekend, but in a few days leading up to the weekend, these areas also got some rainfall. So we added it all up here, and we also have our monthly averages for August. So Prince Albert last week got 91.9 millimeters. Usually in August, the area just gets 51 millimeters of rainfall. And same thing with Saskatoon. In a 1 week span, close to 58 millimeters of rainfall, usually only getting about 45.8 millimeters in August. So we're seeing definitely a significant amount of rainfall in just this short time span. Monday night, the majority of the province could also get a slight chance of showers. We're specifically seeing that in the southeast, where there's a chance of thunderstorms that could bring nickel-sized hail and very strong periods of wind gusts. We're going to continue to see some rainfall in the province all throughout the week, specifically up north. Tuesday, we're going to see a system coming in from Alberta, bringing showers to the Churchill region, and that could hit central areas like Saskatoon as well. Wednesday, we're also going to see some showers up north, and later on in the evening, a thunderstorm could hit La Ronge as well as Saskatoon. And Thursday is our biggest system coming into the north. We are seeing thunderstorms associated with that and a lot of rainfall expected for the far north. So just how much rainfall will we get up north? Areas along the Alberta border are going to get the most. This model in particular tends to oversell how much rain we're going to get and displays the most that an area could get, but it does depend on the severity of the storms. But we know that most areas of the north are going to get a very good amount and probably over 30 millimeters of rainfall, which is definitely needed. Air quality warnings continue to be in place up north, specifically for areas along the Manitoba border. So some more rainfall and cooler temperatures could help with some of that air quality, Ethan.
Definitely. Okay, Helena, thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, a powerful earthquake has shaken northwest Turkey, killing at least one person and injuring more than 24 others. The magnitude 6.1 quake happened Sunday night. At least 16 buildings collapsed, including part of a mosque. Powerful aftershocks followed the initial quake, but search and rescue operations have now ended. The tremor was felt in Istanbul, about 200 kilometers away. Turkey is located at the intersection of 3 major tectonic plates and experiences frequent seismic activity. Well, here is a preview of an out-of-this-world event lighting up the skies near you. The annual Perseid meteor shower peaks Monday into Tuesday. Your best bet is to head to an area away from any light pollution and look up. A couple of factors, though, that could hinder your view this year are the bright full moon and smoke from wildfires as well. Stay with us. We will have more news and a final look at the forecast for you when we come back. More air travelers visited Canada in July compared to last year. That's according to the latest numbers from Statistics Canada. At the same time, return trips from the U.S. by road were way down. Cross-border travel between Canada and the U.S. fell by nearly 37%. Americans visiting Canada by car also dropped by just over 7%. Meanwhile, air arrivals by non-residents to the country were up 3% last month. Overall, this is the 6th consecutive month of year-over-year decline in travel. Wildfires continue to burn across the country and have already scorched more than 7 million hectares of land. In Atlantic Canada alone, 23 fires are burning. At least 4 are burning out of control in Newfoundland and Labrador. Here you can see water bombers tackling the Kingston fire, which is on the east coast of Newfoundland. It is now the largest active wildfire in the province, covering an area of more than 5,000 hectares. Evacuation orders are in effect. At least a dozen wildfires continue to burn in New Brunswick, and several communities there are bracing for possible evacuation orders. And Helene is back to tell us more about the rain that may be good for our forest fire situation here.
Well, Ethan, in south and central Saskatchewan, we're not quite seeing as much rainfall. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. Not too much rain, and the sun is going to be out all throughout the week. Temperatures dipping a few degrees below or above seasonal all throughout the week. We are definitely going to see our warmest day on Wednesday, a little closer to that 30-degree mark, before dipping right back down a few degrees below seasonal Thursday. And that's definitely going to be our coldest night as well, with temperatures dipping below that 10-degree mark. And we're going to continue to see a bit of a cooler weekend until about Sunday, where we get some rainfall, but temperatures also jumping up a little bit above seasonal. Saskatoon is also going to be getting a lot of sun, but temperatures a little bit cooler here. We are going to have a few days of temperatures below 20 degrees, and overnight lows will dip below that 10-degree mark. A few breezy days as well, and some rainfall in the middle of this week and into the weekend as well, with those cooler temperatures. To end the weekend, though, we are seeing temperatures back to about seasonal. So, Ethan, a little bit of everything in the province as usual, which I don't mind.
That is true. Okay, thank you, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that is our news for this Monday. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Sask, or you can subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.